What's up? I'm about to. This is a longer video that I'm putting up about Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. It's going to be in real time, just to show what exactly I was looking at. It's insane. It really is insane. Volkanovski did really good. Now, I agree with the score 48-47 Islam, not so much 49-46 for Islam, but I think it should have been a unanimous 48-47 just because as much as we were seeing Volkanovski definitely take rounds 3 and 5, I feel. Round two was the deciding factor, but I think Islam kind of just had a little more time in there, just by an edge. So you got to see it, those rounds going to Islam 1, 2, and 4. It was a close fight. I don't even think it's that Islam is underrated. I think that Volkanovski is underrated. I think we weren't giving Volkanovski enough credit. Volkanovski is going to go down to 145, and he is going to most likely defeat Yair Rodriguez. As good as Yair looked in that fight, Volkanovski has to look at his 145 reign. He's got to say, okay, I got to take on Rodriguez. He's got to make a definitive statement against Rodriguez. And then he could think about going back up to 155 to challenge Islam again. Because I think Islam is looking at this fight and saying, I came up short in a lot of areas. And Islam's not a stupid guy. Islam is very smart. He's a very wise guy, and he does have room for improvement. That one time he got knocked out in the UFC, he became the least hit fighter in UFC history. So it was a major reflection for both fighters, I feel. It was poetic in a sense because Volk excelled in the wrestling more than we thought, and Islam excelled in the striking more than we thought. Islam's striking super underrated. A lot of people were looking at the dominant parts of Volk's fight, where I saw him pressing him up against the fence and knocking down Islam, but Islam got knockdowns himself. Islam got takedowns himself. Islam had a lot more control time himself, going for rear nakeds. So I could see how Islam squeaked past this time. And Islam's definitely looking at that fight. He's going to say, we're probably going to face this guy again. We're going to have to make some adjustments. He's a lot tougher than we thought. And I guarantee that is going to, Islam's probably going to want Khabib back in his corner because I feel like Khabib was a really good coach. I don't know how his absence is going to make, or if that had anything to do with it. I just thought Islam by himself, I feel like without those boys in his corner, it's just a different fighter. You know, he's still very talented, but when you have the mind of the coach behind you, it could make or break you sometimes. And I see that now. I still think, yeah, Islam won, but I did see the effects. It wasn't as bad, thankfully. I think if it was anyone else facing Volkanovski like Oliveira, Volk would have tore through Oliveira like a knife through butter, hot knife through butter. Because I think that, you know, it was impressive that they gave that decision to Islam because they were in Australia. They could have robbed him or given it to Volk. I wouldn't have called it a robbery either way because it was such a close fight. Um, yeah, I'm blown away by this fight. It was the best thing to ever hit the UFC for a while, and we needed this fight. Uh, I really hope people go back and watch that. It was a war. I don't know what else to really say except both guys are kind of probably gonna go face some other opponents. I think Volkanovski is definitely gonna face Yair. He's gonna beat Yair. I don't know how much of a challenge Yair is gonna be because I think Yair is just in that top 1 or 2 rankings in the featherweight where he looks really good against lower fighters. But you place him against someone like the champion, might be a different story. You know, who knows? And we might see another rematch within like a year. And then we're gonna have to see Islam face someone else. I think Islam's gonna face Charles Oliveira again. If Oliveira beats Dariush, or I mean, because Islam versus Dariush was always meant to happen. I think Dariush is probably gonna give Oliveira some trouble unless Oliveira comes back. I really do think that there's gonna be a rematch if Oliveira wins this. because there's going to be a 155 looking for a thing. Islam's going to want to keep himself busy. And when you put two training camps in like that, you're going to see a lot of evolution from both guys in the next year. And then you're going to see this rematch. And I think this rematch is going to be just as competitive as this one was. Unless someone gets lucky or finds a split second decision where someone goes out or someone gets choked out, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't. Um, and even though I do feel like Islam had the 48-47 fairly, Volk did very well, like unbelievably well against Islam, where I was impressed. Just anyone else in the lightweight 155 would crumble under Volkanovski. And I think it's just two guys who are in their respective divisions who are going to be dominant in those positions unless they meet again. And I'm not just saying this because I'm very for Islam Makhachev, uh, but Islam is definitely going to be reflecting. Definitely. But just so I'm not talking in circles, I want to say to both fighters, you guys did so well. You guys put on a fight of the ages. And Islam, good job beating Volk in his home country. And Volkan, obviously, good job stopping a lot of that wrestling. You know, I think Volk's just a really tough dude. He's very elastic in a way. I don't know if that's the right word. But yeah, this was an amazing fight. I do want to see a rematch just so we can finally put this chapter behind us. It's probably going to be a while because, like I said, they got a couple title defenses coming up. And they're going to grow. They're going to grow from this. But other than that, I will see you guys next time. And sayonara.